Who's wrong and who's wronger? In this corner, followed by millions, James the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell. And in that corner, ignored by millions, Steve Dash Rinko Lever.
A hastily thrown together episode of at least one of your favorite podcasts, Wrong and Wronger. I'm Steve Olivas, Dr. Steve, the always prepared and settled both in life and in podcasting, and he's James Chaos Breakwell, coming to you like a tornado every week. And James, I always ask you this, and I'm always afraid of the answer, but how are you doing this week?
I am delighted. I honestly have no idea what's about to happen, and it's all your fault. So I just want to let this episode unfold and see what happens.
James, do you want to give the background on why you said such an outrageous thing?
Well, first of all, shame on you for implying that we don't put hours and hours of time into preparing for every single episode. We always come prepared. We do our research beforehand. We stake out the two positions. We are the epitome of preparedness. But today, Steve dropped one of several balls, probably all the balls, like an entire ball pit worth of balls, just balls falling everywhere. And he did not have a topic. So he said, and also, on top of all of that, he committed a sin. He's committed many, actually worse than the usual sin he commits. He not only forgot the Guam quarter of fate, he forgot all quarters. He is coinless, completely and utterly coinless, which shows you just how much money we make off this podcast. So, obviously, you spent the last Guam quarter of fate on your mortgage. So now we are going to argue who's going to argue which side of the argument, which I didn't even know how we're going to argue that if we don't have something to argue about. But please, Steve, explain how that's going to work.
I don't know what I did with the quarter that I keep on reserve here in my office. I found an empty Swisher Sweet cigar wrapper, though. Wow, I'm clanging like a schizophrenic. Instead of cigar, I said guitar. I had to be very careful even that time when I said it. Did you ask me something, James? I don't pay half of the attention when I'm supposed to be anyway, but what?
We don't have a coin to determine who's arguing what.
No.
So
we don't really have a topic to argue, frankly.
So I don't understand how we're going to have two sides to argue here for me to beat you again, which, by the way, we're on week number 95 of me destroying you because of things like this right here. You lost with bubble wrap, sir. Bubble wrap. One of the most popular products on the planet. Who hates bubble wrap? It has like a 99% approval rating. It has a higher approval rating than puppies. You took the bubble wrap cause and you lost. So explain to me how we're going to set this up today so that you can lose this debate too.
First of all, I've blocked both of our interns because I just can't take the news that they bring to my doorstep every week. So the neighborhood patrol knows not to let them in the gated community. And first of all, how dare you on my mortgage? We had to get that thing deferred for 3 months, and it's coming due, James. So it's about time that people start ponying up for the privilege of listening to our show every week. And third of all, what was the topic going to be now that we don't have a topic or a quarter?
Okay, you very clearly said the topic was going to be who's going to argue which side, but we have to have two sides to argue, so we're going to have to create a dummy topic and then argue about who's going to argue which side.
Huh. All right.
We're going very meta here. Unless you can see a better way to structure this. You have created this conundrum that we are now in. You are the creator of this Rubik's Cube. So help me solve it here.
Well, first of all, we have not complimented each other. And I can tell, James, you're feeling a glowing positivity toward me this afternoon. So I'm going to let you go first. You're bursting like a water balloon filled with love.
I would like to compliment you for finding a new level of chaos to inject into my life. Got 4 kids and 2 pigs. My house is falling apart. People are swinging off the rafters. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to the internet for a source of calm and stability. At least there's Steve. At least with him. At least when everything goes wrong with Steve, I know what will go wrong with Steve. It's everything. It's nice and calm and consistent. You can set your watch by it. But this right here, I don't even have anything to berate you over because we can't figure out how the topic is going to work. You have thrown me into a tailspin of self-doubt and existential angst. So props to you for raising your game this week.
And a very proper pronunciation of angst.
Yes. Gotta get that gene.
I say unks, like uncles and grandparents. James, I want to compliment you on being absolutely uncomplimentable. Like, most people have some redeeming quality that you can pick out and highlight, but with you, every week, I'm just making stuff up and lying half the time. So congratulations on being above humanity that way.
Well, I thank you. I like to think I'm on a higher plane, but that's just me. We'll let the people decide.
Yes. Well, okay. So we can argue whether flipping a coin is the best way to determine which side we get. Huh?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay, that's how we'll do this then. So, okay, now how do we decide who gets which side?
I have a Swisher Sweet guitar wrapper here that I can throw up in the air like a baseball card and go heads or tails with it.
Okay. Heads or tails with a Swisher Sweet wrapper.
The heads has the owl on it, and the tails does not.
Heads, I am pro coin. Tails, I am anti coin.
Okay, this is sort of doubling back against what it is that we're arguing in the first place, the fact that we have to flip for it. But let us... Wow, that one flew. Holy Christmas. Okay, it is, and I shall see if we can get this on camera here. It is heads, and I think I got that. I'm not positive, though,
Okay,
because
so
I couldn't see it at the same time.
I am pro coin. And this,
pro coin.
This is an easy one because you know what? Today, we needed to stake out positions, and we could not do it without a flipping mechanism. Yes, it wasn't a coin, it was a wrapper, but it was the same basic mechanism. A 50-50 randomized situation, because this is what keeps us the most mentally agile. We're not coming in here with pre-existing notions of what we are going to argue. We are pure debaters. We are here not for the side that we come in believing in. We are here for argument for the sake of argument. We are here for a linguistic duel. We are here for verbal combat. That is who we are. This is like the in ancient Athens. You've got Plato and Aristotle and all these high-minded people discussing these ideals. We come in here with just completely open minds. You give us anything, literally anything, and we will make a case for it based on the coin. But that sort of objectivity, that sort of detachment is only possible with the coin mechanism, which we put in place, I believe, right away with episode 1 or 2. Right at the start, we realized we could not function properly without the coin. The coin would take us to that higher level where you say I already exist. And thank you again for that fine compliment. So yes,
that plane is on fire, but yeah, all right.
Okay, so that's what this coin allows us to do. It allows us to be detached. It allows us to be logical. It allows us to be hilarious. Because often we have to argue things that stand against everything we stand for. You in particular have awful positions on so many things. And this forces you out of your comfort zone, out of your terrible, dark, just depressing box to consider what everybody else in the world likes. So you're welcome, Steve. The coin has enriched your life, and it has enriched the podcast.
James, if I had to come up with one word to describe you, detached would absolutely be it. So I'm glad that you nailed that one. You know yourself. And just for point of reference, in the whole Plato-Aristotle thing, which one am I? Am I Plato or Aristotle?
I think
you're
you're the guy in the back of the crowd farting, I think. I guess I'm both philosophers.
Wow. Arguing with yourself is probably not completely outside the bounds of what you do every day anyway, James. But I think the problem with using a coin is being highlighted by what is happening today, which is it relies on me to come up with the Guam Quarter of Fate, to protect the Guam Quarter of Fate. I used to carry it with me on the road in the Wrong and Wronger mug, I think I've told you this, with a ball of socks shoved on top of it so it wouldn't rattle out of the mug. Sometimes it did, and I have to dig it out of my suitcase. Like, you relying on me for anything to run smoothly is automatically a kiss of death. I don't know why you would want that, James. And second of all, what we've proven here today with a Swisher Sweet cigar wrapper, I'm still auto-correcting with guitar. It's crazy. With a Swisher Sweet cigar wrapper is that we can flip anything that has two sides and come to the same conclusion. And one is one way, one is the other way. I don't think we need a coin, frankly. And I don't know if it was a fair flip or if I flipped that wrapper 10 times, it'd be 10 heads, but I'm satisfied with the outcome. And James, why do we need to be bipartisan on anything? We need to come together in this podcast. We need to have an open discussion of these topics. We don't need to argue about them. We need to hold hands, have a Coke and a smile. We need to push a candle through the bottom of a paper plate and then light the whole thing on fire. There's no reason that we need to be adversarial, James. We are filled with love. You gush love. You need to show that a little bit more on the show, by the way, and privately, just when we're not on the show. It's a strange relationship you and I have, given how much love is here. But anyway, that's my argument. You rely on me to do something that obviously I'm not able to do, and if you think this is part of my growth curve, I think we can move on from that point next time you give me my annual evaluation. But you've actually already given the reason why we shouldn't do it, so I don't need to say anything more.
I'm going to compliment you. I'm going to give you a supplemental compliment, a second compliment, and wrong and wronger. This is as so rare as a solar eclipse. Yeah, are you ready? Are you braced for it? Have you opened your heart?
What do you got?
I would like to compliment you on making a devastating case against yourself. You put down Steve harder than I ever could. You are absolutely right. You made an airtight argument for why we cannot depend on Steve. But that has nothing to do with why we can't depend on the quarter. Because I could flip the quarter, we could have a neutral third party flip a quarter, we could have a computer simulation flip a quarter, we could have anyone other than you flip the quarter. The flaw is with you, not with the quarter, which is what I'm arguing for here. And the coin flip, really, it's a mechanism. It's a system of randomization, and I'm embracing all of that onto my side of the argument. I'm saying we need to determine this, we need a 50-50 variable. And that's what the coin flip is. Now, you did a coin flip today with a wrapper. Now, obviously, a coin works better than a wrapper because it is hard and solid. And for anyone who's not you, they would have the hand-eye coordination to catch it without dropping it on the floor. It's weighted properly. It fits right in your hand. You don't have to go searching around the floor for a wrapper blowing in the air conditioning. So it's just a better system. So we've identified the flaw. The quarter is perfect. Steve is broken. I think on that we can agree.
God. James, I've never been more broken than since we've done this podcast together. Did we flip a coin on the toilet paper over or under how to put the roll goes on? That was our Wrong and Wronger episode number 1. Like, if it was a comic book, it'd be worth money right now. Not that the show's worth anything. But did we flip a coin that day? I don't even remember how we determined the size. I don't believe
we did, because I think I had an argument coming in beforehand, which I found out was complete overkill. Because for you, I could just make it up as I go along and easily win. So that level of preparedness was completely unnecessary. But yes, I believe we came into it with pre-existing sides, and after that, we switched to the quarter.
Why did we push for the quarter?
I think we thought it'd be funnier if we had to argue for things that we hate, which is usually how it works out.
Oh! Well, and Steve came into the argument, and so what could be more hateable? All right. Well, this may be a truncated, and I may need to look that word up to see if I've used it correctly, episode, because we only have to roll the dice, and then we can get on with our lives without each other in them, James. So what... Oh, I don't even have to introduce it. We already know what you're going to do. You're going to roll 2 numbers that have been rolled before and pretend that they're the first time you've heard them.
I don't know if you know how randomization works, but it doesn't mean it'll be a new virgin number. There's only so many numbers between 0 and 99. But here they come. If you would like to vote for James and the continuation of the randomization quarter, vote for 79. If you want to vote for Steve and hate quarters and everything else in life, including puppies and unicorns, vote for 48. And if you want to throw your vote away, vote for 78.
78 and 79. It's funny how James and throw your vote away are so closely tied. You can go either direction. And in fact, why not just go to the throw your vote away? Don't vote for James anymore, because it goes right to his head. And then I have to block the interns, and then we have to have that whole conversation. And then they get angry and go to James, and then he does what James does, which is not care one way or the other. But vote for Steve, 48, Jimmy Johnson's number for you NASCAR fans. And we're going to have a celebration victory next week that, if it's at my house, will include the Guam Quarter of Fate. Not the original one. That one got retired probably at a Shell station buying like a hot dog or something. But between now and then, all of you can at least revel in the fact that we have not missed a week with this Wrong and Wrongers since the last time we missed. But until next week, which we will probably be at. I am Steve, Dr. Steve Olivas for James, the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell, saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and remember, keep flipping, people. 2 wrongs can make a right.